Alright, here we are, part 2. We are now in the modded version of the game, which you can tell in the lower left-hand corner. You'll see the little white dot, the 1 pixel. So this is a demonstration of how the Balkoth Dark Elf Slave Overhaul works in practice. There's obviously already a summary video posted, but this lets you see the play-by-play. As a quick reminder, first of all, industry buildings no longer consume slaves. They also don't offer bonuses for having any slaves at all. It's just a flat amount. 200, 300, 400. That's the same baseline. Normally you'd get an extra 100, an extra 200, an extra 300 from having at least 100 slaves. That's not a thing anymore. However, to compensate for that, the slave count gives a bigger income bonus, which you'll see as we go. So basically, instead of getting a baseline huge bonus off the bat, you have to scale it up by getting slaves. Other changes. Settlement buildings now consume slaves. You see it goes 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. And that number is increased by low public order, which is 100%, 300%, and 900% more slaves used by buildings. Now, I know 900% can look like a bit of a scary number. But something to keep in mind is that this right here, on the verge of rebellion, would be -2 slaves go up to -20 slaves per turn. That's it. Individually, if you have a large empire, a few provinces with bad control is not going to cripple you or anything. Now, if every province is at bad control, then that's going to be more of a problem. So basically, keep your provinces reasonably under control, and it shouldn't impact you at all. It's meant to be similar to the low control system created by Creative Assembly. Ports no longer consume slaves. In fact, they actually generate slaves. You can see right there it's generating 10 per turn. I believe it's 10, 20, 40. It's not a massive number, but they can add up as you get more and more ports, for sure. And then, the slave pens, the level 2 version gives 16 instead of 10. The level 4 version still gives 40. Just a slight boost to the level 2 version. I might buff this more in general. It still seems weak, but it's definitely not needed. You can ignore it and do fine. Now finally, or one of the final things, we lose 20% slaves per turn. It's mentioned there in the tooltip now, as you can see. And this is just representing that wherever the Druki go, slaves are going to escape or die or whatever. Stuff just happens. It's not a great society. That may be a shock. This means that, however, when you only have, let's say, 500 slaves, you only lose 100. Then if you have, 50,000 slaves, you'll lose 10,000. The point is that it gets more and more difficult to have a super high slave count without enough armies to support the slave income, but it is also a lot more difficult to run out of slaves entirely if you suffer some setbacks or whatever. So it should scale more smoothly up and down in that regard. And then I think 2 more things. One, right costs are now 400, which is what they originally were, instead of 800. You might be asking why. The answer is because you lose 20% of your slaves per turn, it is a lot harder in the early game to get up to 800. Because even at, let's say, having 700 slaves, you will lose 140 a turn from that, which is a lot more than you'd be losing in the first few turns of the game. So in order to be able to get the first few rights up in reasonable time, it was changed back to 400. It could be 500 or 600 maybe, but 800 felt like it was significantly more difficult to get the first few rights up than unmodded. And I was not trying to make it intentionally more difficult there. You could argue that maybe the rights should be delayed. I don't know, but again, the goal was to try to preserve a modded feel. An unmodded feel. 2 more things. This is a lot to keep track of. The slaves here, the thresholds have been adjusted as well. Instead of 800, 2,000, 5,000, and 10,000, it is 300, 1,200, 5,000, and 20,000. So it's easier to get the first few ones, harder to get the later ones, but you also, it's percentage based, so it's actually not as bad as you might guess based upon that. It's because it doesn't keep increasing at a linear amount, a static amount consumed by the industry buildings. So basically, eventually, if you have enough armies and gather enough land, you'll be able to hit the 20,000 and, in fact, have slaves to burn. It just obviously takes a while. It probably won't happen until it's turned 70 to 90. Which is generally when you're probably going to be looked to be hitting 10,000 slaves as well, because you need the capacity. The point is that's a late game thing. Finally, dictats. There's a couple things about dictats. First of all, they are generally made more powerful with an increased cost. For example, the original slave drive cost 400 slaves and gave 50 growth and 10% reduced cost for all builders. You can see here it literally costs twice as many slaves for twice the benefits. So it's a big impact when you use it. But it's more expensive. Open markets generates 3,000 treasury for 1,000 slaves. Used to be 1,000 for 600. So it is a little bit of a better ratio as well, 3 to 1 instead of 1.67 to 1. However, keep in mind, unmodded, the slaves generally produce 6 to 8 gold per slave, basically, so it's still worse to do this. Finally, fights to the death. Just because there are some scenarios where 20 control would actually be better to have a bit more, it is 600 slaves versus 400 and gives 30 instead of 20. So this is I'm just going to lock it down. A big thing to note is there is no longer any limit on using these except for how many slaves you have. So if you have a bunch of extra slaves, you can just use multiple dictats, and you can stack the duration of dictats. You can just hit fight to the death 3 times if you want 15 turns of plus 30 control, for example. You can hit slave drive 4 times if you want 20 turns, but of course you would need 3.2k slaves to do it. So it's designed to encourage a more active use of the dictats. That's a lot of talking. I know I already covered some of this before. So let's get into the action and see how this goes. And I completely forgot to do the camera settings again, which I know I said in the other video I would do, and then I didn't, because I am a liar, I guess. Okay. So, off we go. Let's see how things go.
Morathi commands you. Fight.
We're going to lose one of our witch elves here.
The mother.
We know this. We're going to lose 2 units here. Oh, dang. Oh, well. That's just RNG on the auto-resolve, I guess. We got a Darkstar cloak. Nice.
Is it time?
Going to demolish that, or repair that. So we are now down a unit compared to last time. So the start is harder. That has nothing to do with the mod, though. Just to be clear, that's just randomness when it comes to the resolve. We also do not get strong lords. We had a strong lord there as available, which was rather nice. We don't have it this time. So, you know, that's fine. Any diplomacy to be done? Probably not. We could do a sacrifice to Akarti, but we're definitely going to wait on that. So then let us be off. Now, last time I realized that I really should have hired a 3rd lord on turn 2, and I didn't. So, we're going to not change things, because I'm trying to replicate what happened as much as possible here. Yes, the Morathi is going to come down there. And you can see that last turn we lost 6 static from buildings, and then we lost 43 from losing 20%. So under the unmodded game, in fact, we would have lost 0 last turn. We have nothing consuming slaves. So that is why, if you're wondering why is it 300 instead of 800, it's because you're losing slaves from the get-go. Unlike prior. No, we want shades there. Well, let's see what we get here. If we can get 120 slaves here or not. Let's find out.
Moving for glory. To arms, crewkey. What was there?
Okay, good news. We got up to 304 slaves. That means we hit our first slave threshold by 4 slaves. Alright, now so we get -1 construction time, -5% construction cost, and -2 control all profits. That's all standard. However, now we're getting 15% income for all buildings instead of +5%. And so we're effectively making up to 254 again. Unmodded would actually be making more than that, so the start is a tiny bit slower here. but that's intentional, and you're designed to have better tools early on once you get extra slaves to make up for that. Again, this is designed, well, to be balanced is perhaps, I mean, an obvious thing to say, but it's designed to not be any stronger. It's supposed to be a different way with a smoother progression and less frustrating. Okay, so we'll grab 2 more things there. Again, we could hire another lord here, but I didn't think to do it, so we're not going to do it. They should recruit like 2 units and attack. We should survive based upon what happened last time. We'll find out, though we didn't have a farm. It would be hilarious if the farm is what prevents us from winning here. Let's find out. So far we have a slightly rougher time of it than we did prior. Again, that's mainly just due to some randomness in the auto-resolve, making a big difference. They come in attack. And this time they think we lose. Well, we don't have a strong lord. We have a different lord. I'm surprised it's decisive defeat, but okay, you know what? I promised. What are the odds if we'd have to get into melee with them? You know what? The hell with it. I'll just take the loss. And we'll show setbacks and how this is more forgiving to this sort of thing. So obviously that did not happen last time, so we lost that lord. The lord being strong, and I would have sworn there was more units. The garrison was stronger, so I don't know what quite is what is up with that. As you can see, we are having some severe control issues here, so we're losing more slaves right now. We need to be able to overcome this, which we'll be able to do. So we're now effectively a turn behind where we were before. Because last time we were able to take that. That's not due to the system, I mean, that's just RNG. The point is, you know, we'll still be able to come in. So we'll grab another lord to get back up to our 2 lords. And we need to get our control under control. Now again, if you're looking, but look, you lost, you know, about 100 slaves there. We'd be losing, theirs would be 30, and it would be doubled, so we'd be losing 60 even unmodded there. And again, that's why it's only 300 versus 800 to start, because it is harder to start building up the initial slaves. That's why it requires a lower initial number. On the plus side, we did get the 300 slaves there, which meant we were able to get our shades 1 turn sooner. So as you see, there's the slight upsides and downsides along the way, and they're all supposed to balance out. I hope. Okay. So they are now running away, so we're already having some more interesting opening stuff here. Obviously that's going to be an easy victory.
What awaits me? Morathi commands you. Fight.
Get another 200 slaves, which pushes us back above 300. We're also about to have a rebellion. Hooray. Demolish that. Let's upgrade this. Keep grabbing shades. And at this point we're like, hey, there's a rebellion we're going to have to deal with. So let's get another lord up there just to buy us some time. This will heal right each turn. And we just need to be able to stop those 2 units there. And let's actually, raid leader 2 out of 3 is probably good enough to start. Let's get dreaded slaver as the priority. Get some bonuses here. Imminent rebellion, yep. There's the rebellion. Start's already a little bit different here, just due to what traits happen to be available. And there they go running, that's fine. So I think what we do at this point, we have 5 there, that is healing. We force march Morathi up, so we can engage that next turn. And then we try recruiting 2 shades here. This may go poorly if they attack. We don't have any trade partners yet, though. It still gives control. Sure, we'll grab that. And you're just chilling up there. Again, we had like double strong before. Now we have like perceptive and determined, which is not nearly as good. So we'll see if they feel... They may come back and use both lords to attack. That's probably what they'll do. So I think what I do is I bring you back to Petrified Forest. And I recruit there. And we come back in to put things in line. And the end result of this is I'm like, look, it's slightly worse off than the unmodded. Then, given we had a slightly worse start here, that's kind of to be expected. Alright. So now we can bring our friends up here. We're now losing money.
New toys, delight.
To 497. Once we can actually get to the point of using Sacrifice to Cain, and once we get the continuous slave supply, we're going to start be getting significantly more slaves and have some more stuff to work with here. In the meantime, let's bring you up here. And we'll keep recruiting shades.
Your will be done.
Alright, no, we do have Sacrifice to Cain is available now after that. So let's see. We're at 60 right here. So we will lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 4 is 20. So we'll lose 20. We'll gain 30. So that puts us 10 up, so that puts us at 507. Then we lose 20%, which will put us at like 405 or whatever. So we'll still have enough slaves next turn to hit Sacrifice to Cain, so we're okay there. Alright. We can wait. We don't need it to heal right now. I think I wound up hitting Sacrifice to Cain, well, at about the same actual turn, but after I took Iron Spike over there. Oh, we got some beastmen over there, we'll have to watch out for that. We're losing money now, part just because we're getting 150 less baseline from that, and we have more relative shades at this point. But it's okay, we got the economic tools we need to get out of this. Well, apparently we don't. You're not able to attack there. That is less ideal. Okay. So I think I'm going to do this.
Into the shadows. Dread Commander. For Nagaroth.
We had all of the lords there, that we don't really need you at this point. We'll be okay. And the reason we want to drop that is because we want to be able to upgrade that. And then if we wait a turn, we're going to lose the ability to get Sacrifice to Cain, so let's go ahead and hit it now. I forgot, I guess I needed the 5% movement, or maybe it's you can get there from Sildrator, but not Petrified Forest. That's probably it.
My lord,
You want a trade agreement? Sure. That gets us some more money. They did not take the bait either because they saw Morathi or they just were afraid of the Shades and the Lord.
Unthinkable.
Either
I
way,
watch from the shadows.
their problem, not mine.
Moving dread. To arms, Druki.
As you can see, it's predicting a very rough fight
Even
there.
the Witch King.
Fortunately, we have reinforcements.
For
I'm
the
just going to
Witch
drop the
King.
Witch Hills here.
Bewitching
Probably should just
fury.
delete them, honestly. I'll keep them
No
for the moment.
stopping me.
Okay, now we're up to decisive victory.
Morathi, come on.
You see that we're at 30 out of 600, but you notice that under the use we only lost 6 from buildings and 8 from commandments, right? We didn't yet even zero out technically. And this should give us quite the bounty right here as a result from that. There we go, 776.
What's theirs is mine. I am
Okay.
the first sorceress.
And then I'm going to do the first sorceress.
Morathi.
I'm going to delete that. And then I'm going to recruit these sorceresses.
Nagarothi, sorceress.
This also gave 500 slaves. Look, we didn't overcap this time. Amazing.
Untouchable, undefeatable. Who seeks my malice?
We'll add these in to our armies. Over here we have 10,000 gold, so we should do something with it. I'm going to increase over here. Actually, this gives us a chance to show something else off. Because we only need 300 slaves, we can now hit the slave drive here, which will help supercharge our growth here and make this significantly cheaper. This means we did lose a little bit of income there because we were above the 1200 mark, but we're still above the 300 mark and we'll jump back up, and that gives us these buildings are cheaper and we get the extra growth. So I think that's going to be worth it. Just pick whatever there.
Hate incarnate. Next, destruction.
Is it even worth carrying the Witch Elves? Probably not.
Noble blood.
So let's go with Shades and Dark Shards and Dread Spears. Okay, so we're doing okay over there. We are not exporting all of our wine. Hexawaddle, again, would like a trade agreement. Perfect. We will take that. And next turn, we go to war with Clan Gritus, whatever. As you see, we're like a turn or two behind where we quote-unquote should have been, but we're overcoming it. Oh, and I guess at the risk of stating the obvious, these benefits apply and downsides apply to the AI as well. However, the AI tends to be terrible at managing its slaves, because it gains 200 baseline for free per turn, and then has absolutely no idea how to deal with the system at all, including the dictates. It's just like we'll randomly use stuff. So this should actually buff the AI Dark Elves slightly. So even if you don't want to play the Dark Elves, it should actually make the Dark Elves more of a threat on the field. Okay.
I am
Now it is time
Rise
to initiate war with Clan Gritus.
to the vengeful.
Now at this point we need to come over here. We need to grab a Dread Spear. There.
For the Witch King.
And then you are malicious. So let's give you
All shall be mine.
that. And you are vicious. So let's give you to Morathi.
Relics come forth. Destroy them all.
Okay. And you see that we're losing 49 gold a turn. One of the reasons for this and why we didn't have this problem before is because we're only getting, 260 gold right now total from this building, whereas we'd be getting more like 350 gold times, multiple ones in the port. So our income is actually slightly worse. But just got another 944, which pushes us back up. And you see we're now back in the blue because we managed to hit that 1200 slave. So hitting those slave breakpoints tends to be important. We can build the iron, that's fine. And you notice this public order is a problem, so we might look into using the fights to the death once we are in position to get another battle here. So we're already up to -2 construction time on buildings, which will help this. And our main province is growing very rapidly. And any extra slaves we get, we're able to dump into that kind of economic growth. And we'll grab that. We have 3 more turns until we can summon our Black Ark. And we can move the... So we can move... Oh, roads. I never discussed roads earlier. Roads are also changed. So basically, instead of being like only good in 3 or 4 region provinces, you can build them anywhere. They're helpful. They give them a bigger movement bonus, and they give some base income rather than a percentage income to everything else. So let me go over that real fast. So now, it used to give income it used to be a 4% bonus to everything in the province. So like in a province that had 4 cities, it was really good. In a province with 1 city, it was really bad. Now they just give a flat income bonus, though it's obviously a lot smaller than the main income building. They give a bigger campaign movement buff. Otherwise, they're essentially the same. They don't give a dictac discount anymore because you don't want to be able to spam it over and over in one right there. That would not be most balanced. Alright. We have you over there.
What lies ahead?
Let us see what happens here, shall we? How are we doing on that? We are trading 80% of the iron and 80% of the wine. No, we're not trading with you, Keepers of Bliss. We still have 6.5k. You see that we did lose about 300 due to that, so we're below the 1200 mark again. It's fine. And we'll attack Tyrant Beak next turn. So it should feel a lot more dynamic, I guess. And it's a lot more of a function of the armies and the territory you control in order to be able to get the best slave bonuses. Which is already how the slave system seems designed to work, because you already need a lot of settlements to be able to have a high enough slave cap, for example. No, we're not going to peace. You detected Morathi's ambush, and then it was like, oh, this is bad. Okay, now... We're probably going to get more... slaves from this, so just to be safe, I'm going to go ahead and dump in another slave drive here. So now we're up to 7 turns. I'll move there. Okay, now Morathi. Now we got another big bonus here. We have the income from ports, small bonus, 15% casualties captured. Now our slave populations are going to be going up a lot faster. Decisive victory, no surprise. Got over 1,000 slaves there. And we got our talisman of preservation. Nice.
The power is mine.
And then we'll be able to go and take out this city here.
Destructive, this one. Useful.
Obviously that's going to be a lot of slaves, so we are going to, rather than cap, we are going to find something to make use of it for. So what do we want to do? Well, one option, obviously, we know that public order is going to be a problem here, especially when it rebels if we conquered. So you could say, let's give the public order, and that would be valid. But really, we probably just want to let the public order problem happen anyway. Let's focus on building this up. So we get to show off another feature. We already are using the slave drive over here, but we can also use it here now. It just costs us a lot of slaves and some income. But now we can capture 1,300 slaves without it being a problem. We still may overcap here, but it is by a much smaller amount. Yes, we will still... I guess our cap... Yeah, okay, we would have capped with our slave cap went up by a tiny amount there. Oh, another change, though kind of inconsequential. Farms just give growth, casualty replenishment, and slave capacity. They no longer give income from the local region from slaves, but building an entire farm there only gave like 60 gold. It was a very low amount. Alright, we're back over here. This is growing a lot faster, so let's make use of that. We're going to go ahead and switch our shade building over, and we're able to get a lot of things running over here. Now next turn we'll probably be able to either get public order or give even more slave drives. You know what? Let's do it. We're still positive we can afford to go under and we'll deal with that rebellion. So we're going to pop slave drive twice here. So now we have 10 turns of supercharged growth and slightly cheaper buildings. Now we did drop below the threshold, but you see it's not a huge difference just because our empire is smaller. Later on, that could be thousands or tens of thousands of gold, but it's not at that point yet. Part of the fundamental things with this, like the more slaves you can get, the more you can do with them in terms of using them on diktats and the like. They're designed to be a lot more fluid. As you can see, we gained 2,500 slaves this turn, and we would not have any way to make use of those. Instead, we're making much better use of them. I don't think there's anything really interest over here. Yeah, I don't want to be friends with any of them. Oh, we should be recruiting. So we'll deal with this rebellion, and we'll want to get the Death Hag building up soon. Probably could have done that instead of making the shades there as a priority. Oh well. We have population surplus both places. Obviously, we need. I think Titan Peak needs at least 2. Okay. Over here, I'm just going to go for income. Wait, we should wait because we'll get above 1,200. In fact, we might get above 1,200 with just this first fight right here.
No fear the dark.
450 captured. Look at that, our income went up by a little bit, and we get cheaper buildings and all that sort of stuff, so we can queue all that up. Come over here. What do we want to increase first? Iron Spike is green, so let's focus on increasing that first. And then, really we're going to cap again, probably, aren't we? So, public order could be an issue here. So rather than have to go, let's see, you know, we can't really see, can we? Do we play it safe or not? So if I capture that, it'll be -30. Let's go ahead and use it. I want to lock this down. Even though we already have this other active, we're going to say lock it down, fights to the death. We're going to make sure this place does not rebel against us.
Let all tremble.
We got this here.
For the Witch King.
Move this up as always.
Now, to the vengeful slaughter.
Good thing I did that, because you see we just got a whole bunch more. In fact, we capped out again.
What?
But thanks to it would be minus 35, we'd have to go back to deal with a rebellion. But now we don't have to. I'm actually going to keep that for a moment,
Power awaits me.
so that I can recruit some dark shards here. Okay, over here, we're one turn away from growing again. This one I was already going there. There's a lot more focus on using the dictats to manage your province. Also, we can now do sacrifice to Mathlan. So I could have done that earlier. So we now get our first Black Ark, turn 12 here. Our king guy... oh, that's why we slaved cap, or would have slaved cap. We hit... Ah, okay, we did over slave cap there. I didn't realize we were close enough to getting that. Whoopsies.
Phoenix Queen.
So we actually could have summoned the Black Ark first, then done that battle if I had paid attention to the quest, and we'd still be at or close to slave cap now. So, oh well, again, slaves, in the Warhammer 2 method, you try to conserve. The Warhammer 3 method, they come and they go. So, just, it's a matter of embracing the paradigm they've set up. Gives you good results. We're not doing anything else there. So that was what, turn 12, we completed our second province, and we are growing like crazy. Thanks to being able to actually use our dictats instead of just being slave capped. And if we were strapped for cash, we could have just sold some extra ones off for like a burst of 3,000 to 6,000 cash right there. There's their main army up at the Plain of Dogs, it looks like. Since we're a turn or two behind, that could have big differences. That's one of the whole reason speed is so important.
Dark Lord.
We're not going to be able to get there in one turn.
With bitter ambition.
We might be able to just do this. Actually, you know, I kind of want to just stay here and keep recruiting.
All is
Morathi didn't need to move up as far as she did, but it's done, so we'll just go with it. And what do we want to get up to level 3? Let's get up so we can get another sorcerer. So you can see we're still above the 1200 threshold. Then we'll drop down next turn. Over here, we can upgrade this, I guess. Garrison Lord not moved. You're just chilling there. I don't think we quite have the comfortable income yet to start racking up more shades. I don't remember exactly what turn we started doing that, so I'm just letting the Black Ark grow for now. I don't think it was quite yet in the other video. Now, if that army attacks us and we win, we'll probably hit the slave cap again, but again, as long as we know a battle is coming, we can dump slaves on things. We should have probably befriended him. Oh well. We did that last time, although it wasn't until later. Now, you can see there, Heralds of Ariel have taken that over. That's more what I expected to see. Glangritis. They are huddling there. Raise or sack the Plain of Dogs. How about we just capture it? Okay, so 1,400 slaves. That's probably not enough. We are probably going to get at least 1,400 slaves from this battle here. That has nothing to do with the mod. That's from Sacrifice to Cain, plus 25%, plus 15% from Continuous Slave Supply, plus 25% from Dreaded Slaver, and then the fact that Skaven breed like rats. So, we're going to pop that up again. You see our income is a lot lower now. Pyrrhic Victory, lose 1 shade. Or, and hear me out, we bring in our second army here. Close Victory, lose nothing. 3,000 slaves, yep. I knew it was going to be a huge number, that's why I wanted to dump slaves as much as possible. Okay, so we're up to 2,400 slaves. And I guess we can keep recruiting from that. We can move this out, though. Being able to keep the second army recruiting as we go is helpful. In the Grey Rock Point, I'm going to try to get this up so we can get the Death Hags. That'll lead to the Death Hags. Over here. We're continuing to build our economy, but there's a much bigger emphasis on growing your infrastructure and getting to rank 3. Rather than some people like, oh, I just want a bunch of rank 1 buildings because it's like the most efficient. It's not really, but it's a little complicated to explain why, but basically this point is like, no, you want to develop your land, you want to develop your armies. That's all important stuff.
With noble purpose. Hate incarnate. Noble blood.
Ironic that I'm doing all this with the sorceress and we're never actually going to fight a manual battle. So again, we're slave capped now. If I knew I was going to fight another battle next turn, I could burn some of them now. That'd bring me down to like 1,600. And then... You know what? Let's do it. Plain of Dogs, we just got it. If control was an issue, we could hit the fights to death, but now let's do another slave drive and invest into this. We're gonna make this, build this place up. Make this place wonderful, at least according to the Druki, which means, of course, not wonderful. Nothing else interesting here. But you've noticed that rather than looking around being like, is there any way I can dump slaves into anything? The dictates expires or something I can do. Instead it's like, okay, let's find something interesting to do with this. I could have sold them for money, I could have locked down control. In this case, I'm investing the slaves I capture back into the settlements I reach to help them grow faster. We have it active on all 3 provinces right now. But obviously, if you didn't have so many slaves, you wouldn't be able to do this, so it's important to be out there and capture. You see that we're still above 1,200. Morathi can go up here.
Hatred drives me. Cain wills it.
I don't actually see
Onwards! Onwards!
where the province ends, but oh well. Okay, so you see that next turn, that'll grow. These, in fact, did grow already. Invest in our Death Hag buildings. Invest in the rest of this.
War unceasing.
The Grand Hierophant, right, we're potentially going to befriend him. Alright, we'll be friends with you. Now, in this mod, since public order is control is harder to control, but you could still build industry buildings there since they won't just chuck slaves dry without any benefit. I just have to take more effort not to lose due to bad control on the innate thing, and obviously it's harder to build it up, but occupying wasteland isn't quite as punishing as a result of that as well. Not that it's ideal or even close to it, obviously. Alright, we're up to 1920 or 1930 gold, whatever that was. Okay. Now we're going to see how many slaves are here. Quite a few. So we probably should dump a few.
Going now.
Public order might be a problem here, so I'm going to go ahead and use fights to the death. So now we get that control bonuses here.
Morathi commands you. Fight.
Get another 1860 slaves,
Seized it all.
which nearly caps us again, but our cap is going up as we improve our infrastructure. We're already improving that. And in fact, well, there is, I feel I should, okay, I'll mention this, there is a bug. Let's see if it happens here. So it's at 3 turns left. 5 turns. So there is something, whether it's loading the campaign map or settlements changing to the province, I'm not 100% sure, but it can glitch out and not refresh fully. Basically, if you always let this fall off, it's not a problem. But if you do so otherwise, like you see it went back up to 5 versus 8 turns, which is what it should have been. So, something to potentially be aware of. That's a bug in the game. I can't fix that. So, basically it's advisable to either stack it up once you control the province all at once, or let them expire first each time, and then you'll never run into that issue. Anyway, I'll have Death Hags available next turn. Another Sorceress Capacity in a turn. Doing pretty well over here. About to go for the... Now you see Sisters of Twilight are doing a lot better now. About to go to war with them.
Speak.
6 turns on Sacrifice to Cain. Building upgrade. Okay, and we're effectively out of money here. Does that mean we could have upgraded something and didn't? No, it doesn't look like it. I think we're okay. Yeah. Next turn's going to give us a bunch of money from Hag Hall. If they leave Hag Hall, we might actually wait a turn just so we can strike at the Witchwood first. It looks like they did not move. Okay. That's fine. That's good. The Wood Elves were shattered last time we came through here, so again, things play out differently in different games. Who would have thought? Okay. The Sisters may come in and wreck this area. Unfortunate if they do, but so be it. I think what I might do in that regard...
Twin defenders of the glades. Cruel dreadlords.
I might try to see if we can lay an ambush for them. We just need to buy time to get to their tree.
Proven yourself an enemy of the forest.
Enough.
In other words, you're dead. Alright, now we're going to get a bunch of stuff here, so is there anything else we want to be using here? 6 turns left there, 4 turns left here. Let's go ahead and pop that down. And it didn't succeed, yes, okay. As I mentioned, it's generally best to stack it up at once or wait until it runs out. Otherwise you can hit issues like that. It's something CA would have to fix on their end. Sorry. But it's not a big deal here.
Revenge awaits. What was theirs is mine.
Okay, we're back up to a comfortable slave count. We were trying to lure the Sisters into an ambush if we can. We are building this all up. We're up to making 2,700 gold per turn. We definitely could use more money. Death Hags. We're going to want 2 of these. I think Perceptive literally doesn't do anything, so... And we're going to send these 2 north. We should hopefully take out the Witchwood in like 2 turns, basically. We could do another right if we ever need to. Got some more nice bonuses there.
Morathi.
But even when we had that bug with the refreshing one that's not at max duration and not expired, you can always pick a different one. We could have just taken 3,000 gold, and that's also... the more provinces you have, the less likely you're to run into that issue. Let's see what the Sisters do. They're fighting over there. Have fun, boys. The sisters did not move. That's fine.
How wicked. Dreadlord!
I think if we come over to here, we should be able to reinforce next turn.
How scheming.
And if they attack, we should be able to win this fight.
Noxious potions.
And then we need to send the Death Hags north. See, we got those out a bit faster.
Witch elf priestess.
Ambush foiled, yes, yes.
My hatred.
So that's why one of the reasons at least they didn't move there. We can keep upgrading all of this. We actually don't have enough money to upgrade everything. We're actually having to make some choices here. Fantastic. And it's more about developing your infrastructure. Of course, we're about to get a huge shot in the arm here next turn.
Malevolent Lord.
How do you feel about? Do you care about me fighting with sisters? No, good.
The mother of the Druki will hear.
I'll wait till they can want to pay me more for that. Sisters are still in their tree. Good. And we got 10% more from post-battle loot. Are we going to get Hag Hall? We're going to give it a shot in the arm here with a slave drive because this is about to be
The power is mine.
a bonanza.
For Druki.
Start off with a close victory. If you're wondering, how the hell is it a close victory? Remember, our shades are boosted by 10 attack, and all of these have 10 less leadership due to Morathi's ability. Minus 10 leadership is a really big penalty in auto-resolve calculations, and it's really strong in battle, too.
For the Witch King.
Picked up 1,600 slaves.
What's theirs is mine. Hagged sorcerers.
Get some money, get some corruption.
Noble of Nagaroth. What lies ahead?
Honestly, you can head north, and I'll have Morathi head east, probably. That seems reasonable. But we got a lot of money. We fought battles, big battles, got a bunch of money. Now we get to use it.
Forward. Ready.
Okay, so we can increase that to give us more trading stuff. Let's get some... Well, we can get the corruption next time. Let's get the money first. Money, more wine, better that. And how are we doing on Death Hag capacity? We're at 2. We're going up to at least 3. So let's try the roads. Slap some roads down. Give us a bit more money and increased trade tariffs. Not a huge amount of gold, but it's a nice third building if we don't have anything better to do.
Fear the dark. Destructive, this one. Useful.
Oh no, we have some dark shards now, so Chief Master is good.
Enchanting beauty.
Research, upgrade 1, Black Arcs will now grow faster.
I am contemplating killing you.
2,700 gold, let me think, no.
A novel prospect. Enacting
You should be
my
able to
dark
wrap this up
designs.
over here.
Power awaits me.
Clark Harond is Tarx's new home again, so something in the last patch has changed and made him start to do that. Which is kind of funny. We're up to making 5,000 gold a turn now. Hip hip hooray. Let's get Iron Spike rolling up. We can actually... we could increase that. Let's see what we have elsewhere, money-wise, first. Get a little bit more money from the roads. Let's get Hag Hall up. Need more money.
Look, tyrant.
We lost about 400 slaves last turn, roughly.
Death Hag.
Our Death Hags are approaching.
Speaker of secrets.
I speak for the Druki. What is...
Once the arc grows a bit more, we'll be able to sweep through there. Okay. We lost... you notice that last turn we lost 400 slaves. This turn we only lost about 350 because of the percentage decay. But one more turn we'll still drop below the 1200. One turn off from being able to up that.
I am Morathi.
So basically our goal is until we can get above 5,000 slaves, anything between 1,200 and 5,000 does nothing, just like nothing between 2,000 and 5,000 does anything, does nothing. Nothing between that helps in the default game. It's about those breakpoints. Which means that anything above that we can freely dump into improvement projects.
Kill! 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 For Nagaroth! For victory!
But we don't have enough of a comfortable margin here, and since we're not going to, probably can't fight anything next turn, we want to let it decay down a few turns first. Okay, corruption's going well.
Anarian's bride.
Feared by all.
Got another 10,000 gold to invest. Let's slap it here, I guess. Let's get money first. We don't really have any urgent need to upgrade that, so we can put that elsewhere. Which could be like Death Hag capacity, or roads. Well, let's do Death Hag capacity, I guess. Which road will improve when we feel like it. One more turn, the Black Guard goes up a level. Should probably start recruiting more shades for a third army down there very soon. We're probably a bit behind where we'd like to be.
Sorceress of Bronze.
We are making 5,000 gold a turn, so it's 100% something we can do. We don't need as many there. Let's do that. So let's pull out. Let's start getting shades rolling here.
Lord of the Black Court.
We already hired you,
Dreadlord, awaiting command.
so we'll keep that.
Tyrant.
What I think we're gonna do is
What?
Favored of the Witch King.
we're just gonna recruit first. What can I cancel that's not a huge priority? Is there an economic deal of interest?
Listen to the groveling peon.
You know what? Sure. I'll probably break it in 10 turns, but that's fine. Well, you know,
Noctilus.
Basically trying to get like 400 gold someplace if I can.
Nakari loves to
That's still not quite enough. Okay, we can wait a tiny bit longer on the Death Hag. That can catch up. Our goal is to recruit now. Okay, let's take that back.
Dread Commander.
Okay. And then Iron Sand Desert. They're like, do you want to do anything? Nah.
A terror to their enemies.
We have our two very solid armies here, moving up. Tarx has not declared war on us yet, but we're ready to go get him. Show these filthy beasts the might of the Druki. Did I might not have moved that Death Hag, second Death Hag properly, did I? Oh well, it'll catch up. This is why I hate rushing.
With speed. Dreadlord, awaiting command. Druki! For the Witch King!
Raiding season, nice, okay.
As ordered.
We want to capture that,
Morathi. Restless man.
then we need to come take Karandkar first.
I'm here.
Let's see, can you reach there? It kind of doesn't really quite look like it, but I could be
Breathe
wrong.
death to the Druki.
Oh, 2%, okay.
Observing these thralls.
Your will be done.
So I should have started raising the second army faster, and that was a mistake on my part.
Thralls, move!
Black Arc, it's improved. I think I did something differently with the Black Arc. It feels like it's going slower, but I'm not 100% sure what. I don't think there's anything else we can improve directly over here. Our goal is to try to claim all this land by turn 30, which we did before, if we can. Clark Harond we can claim this next turn.
Your time with me is precious.
Decline. Alright, we still have no idea where Tarax is.
Black
But, c'est la vie and all that. Let's do one more turn of
True Dreadlord.
recruiting here.
The ocean awaits.
And then I think we need to move to start capturing.
Go on.
If it's 13, is that going to be enough? Maybe not. He has 2 Masters, Shades, a bunch of Dark Shards.
Master of
We may need like a full army here. Okay, we are going to want another Sorceress.
Sister of the Dark Convent.
Corruption of the vilest sort.
Okay, Morathi is going to claim Clark around here. Tarax no like me.
You stand before me. To what do I owe such an ovation? Of course.
Okay, I don't know where he is,
I watch
but
from
I
the
do know he
shadows.
doesn't have this city anymore.
Morathi commands you. Fight. What was theirs is mine. What?
Get some tradable resources.
Man the wall.
Settle this. Oh, hello, Nagarond.
Mixing spells. Observing these thralls.
Alright, these armies are looking good.
Speak.
Still got 5,000 gold to turn to
Dreadlord,
burn.
awaiting command.
That would cost 2,400 gold. Can we get
War unceasing.
2,400 gold reasonably anywhere? Not 2,800 gold, basically. You know what? I think it's time to use our last dictat we haven't used yet, Open Markets. It will cost 1,000 slaves and get 3,000 gold. That allows us to get a death hag from there next time. We are exporting all of our iron ingots, so I suppose we could do that.
Phoenix Queen.
We're going to move our armies over here. We don't know where Taurus is. That's actually a downside. Until we can figure that out, that is a danger. But we are pretty close to being able to attack with Valesisan.
Enter and speak. The time is...
Of course, if we had put the units with the Admiral first, that's what we did last time, we probably could have saved some of this money. I'd say a few hundred gold per turn at least. So this is a difference that not doing that makes. Or really, I could be putting the spears in the Admiral at least. Slaughterhorn tribe is destroyed. Okay, that's good.
Fear my madam.
This would be the last turn of recruitment. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shades, a bunch of dread spears.
Dreadlord of Nagaroth.
Have the Admiral supporting.
Servant of Hecate, come forth. Droopy.
Or, you know what we do? I think we do one more turn of shades.
Dreadlord of Nagaroth.
We grab... Yeah, that's what we do.
Tiger Cave.
Alright.
Tiger Cave.
We'll do one more turn of shades after
It
this.
shall be done.
Slaughterhorn tribe is destroyed makes me significantly happier.
It is ours now.
Bloodthirst.
Nagarond
The Truki have
really
no
is worried
friends.
about me.
Madam, I lost her dear fan.
Hello, Malekith. Level 12 up there. Let's get up to the Circle of Destruction and claim... No, we came over here, right. We brought these two armies along, and then we recruited another lord to go settle that stuff. Okay.
I am the first sorceress.
Mm,
Mother of the... I am bidden not to destroy you.
Luthenar's going to declare war on us, that's fine.
The mother. I am going. Man the garrisons.
You notice that our raw income dropped down a bit because we dropped below 1,200.
What awaits me?
So we want to get back above that 1,200 as soon as possible. Last turn of recruitment here.
Vicious Dreadlord.
Death high. I have just the poultice. Favored of the
We're ready to begin our assault over here. Is there anything we can actually improve over here right now? We could do this for first, that's fine.
Hagged sorceress of bronze. All is possible.
Okay. We're ready to attack the Black Fortress next turn if we can catch them there.
I speak for the Druki. What is it?
I'm afraid we're about to go to war. Well, they're gonna run up to the north, okay? Well, that works fine for me. They do have 2 armies, so I want to be careful. Okay. We have 4 turns left.
Is it time?
So that just seems to want to go right along there, right?
It is will.
Well, let's
Bring back spoil.
grab some slaves then, shall we?
Dreadlords, with noble purpose.
Pick them apart!
Now that grabs us another 200 slaves. We lost 260 slaves, so that'll nearly counter our slave loss right there. On the flip side over here, we are ready to assault Exarian.
Black Court waits with bated breath.
You will march up over to here,
You maggots!
Lord of the Black Court.
then you will launch the assault from the sea.
We will make them bleed.
We will seize it.
Alright, our income looks better now.
Noble of Nagaroth. Not now.
Run
Later.
over there is going to be healing.
Nagaroth nobility.
I admire your darkness.
Get the shade building going there so we can start producing those. Upgrade that. Upgrade this. Upgrade that.
Hate incarnate.
Get some shade bonuses.
What now?
Give ourselves some nice Dread Spear bonuses.
Go on.
Okay. So Arnheim will fall next turn or the turn after, then we gotta go for those other 2. This will fall next turn, we gotta move up. Looks like we'll end at roughly the same spot here. I don't know where Tehekish is going, but okay. Okay, so
I approve.
are we able to land? It looks like we can just attack this. Good. Obviously that's going to be no way with a few Dread Spears versus the garrison has no chance. But fortunately,
Master of cruelty.
we're bringing in some reinforcements
Power
here.
awaits me.
Draw your blades. We fight.
We'll retrieve it from your cause!
See, we're on the verge of a rebellion here, which is fine. So we're about to get a bunch of slaves, so let's go ahead and use a diktat here. Make it cheaper to repair and grow this place. If it rebels, that's actually fine. We'll keep the Admiral
Murder
parked
is
here.
war.
And we'll recruit that, plus the garrison. The remnants of the garrison should be able to hold off
Definitely.
that right there.
Dreadlord, awaiting command.
Which means we are going to go ahead
Enacting my dark desires.
and be moving in this direction so we can capture that next turn. Morathi is going to launch an assault upon the Twisted Glade.
Have brokered with stop.
Speak, speak or
Count Carr,
die.
you'll pay me to join war.
Indeed.
Give me 1,000 gold for that, thank you.
This heat saps my patience.
So that is So I could wipe that out right now.
A novel prospect.
Then there'd leave the Lord to the north. How much?
Strong fells empowers me, and there is nothing you can do.
I feel like she... I don't know. I feel like she has to have more than that. That's just my hunch. So I want to play it safe.
I am Morathi. To the vengeful slaughter.
Gives us another 1,000 slaves here. And again, let's kickstart this growth and cheaper buildings.
A victory most cruel. For the Witch King.
Corruption's going to take a while to come down.
That is forbidden. Favored of the Witch King.
How far can you supposedly move? About to there? Okay, let's move you up to like here. And see what happens. You're taking down there, you're building there. So what can we do to give immediate money? There's some money. That's money. That's money. And this would be like that in the roads. We don't want to pop anything here right this second. Same over here. Okay. Okay, so 28, 29, right? 28, 29. We should end up at basically the exact same spot.
Tyrant of Nagel.
Destructive, this one. Useful. A terror to their enemies. I am the first sorceress.
Dreadlord of Nagara.
Fear the dark.
Dreadlord, awaiting command.
Obviously some things were different. Sisters were there. Taurux we didn't get attacked by, which turned out to be okay because he got destroyed anyway. But that uncertainty dealing with Beastmen is always a little scary. Okay, they mainly have their stuff to the north. Kara and Kar is actually in a little bit of better shape, I guess due to the three of them warring over here.
I should cut you down for wasting my time.
Asking for peace, no. He is sailing away, okay. Sure, why not? Sacrifice to... No, we don't want -2 Actually, -2 corruption may sound weird. I think that actually might be a positive thing. Because we can't get rid of, like, the undead corruption easily. I'm gonna go with that. It actually helps get rid of enemy corruption.
Fear me! Destruction lies beyond. Claim your prize, Druki. Merciless one.
Okay.
First sorceress.
So that'll help get rid of it, like, down there. Okay,
By
you
my
come up
desire.
here.
What violent delights.
Time to take this.
Let them know death's touch.
This would be kind of funny if this was the end of the Drowned. The Drowned still have something somewhere, I guess. We just don't know where. Where or what. this, get some control. As soon as we want to get, that's control -8, we want to get rid of that, so the sacrifice to Cain will actually help get rid of that. Alethanar is up there, but doesn't have a big army right now, so that's fine.
I am victorious.
A fine plan.
You can keep recruiting some more units for yourself.
Lord of the Black Court.
So I assume... Well, actually, you can probably chase them down.
For the Witch King.
He'll run,
By
and we
Cain,
catch him.
the thrill of battle awaits. Malevolent Lord.
And we're about to have a rebellion here,
Double time. I admire your dark.
so we're going to want to make sure we get back. Well, the garrison's still kind of weak, so how about this? Let's just do the fights to the death. Look, boom, no more worry about a rebellion. Lost 600 slaves, but it's secure now. As long as we keep above 1,200 slaves, we're okay.
Yes.
Get some shade bonuses there.
The hag sorceress ascends. Hate incarnate.
Dread Commander!
Cain wills it.
Now, as you can see, slave capping is not nearly as much of an issue here.
Mother of the
Cap at the start to a smaller degree, but it always feels like there's something you can do with the slaves, even if it's just selling them off for the 3,000 gold, which at least is a better ratio, and you don't have to hunt around for a province that hasn't used it yet.
Burn the coat. Dominate.
Nagaron still does not really like me.
Cruel and deadly.
know me and
Well, you know what we really should do? We did get Circle of Destruction last time, right? So I guess I should get that this time, too. That means we need to grab a new lord.
Dreadlord! Do not
And so, like,
fear
they'll...
a novel prospect.
I don't know if they'll be able to make it in time. Perhaps not. Probably not, even.
Black-hearted dreadlord.
Doomblades over here. That works. Alright. Run, Alethanar, run. And taking out Maddie Sea Legs there will be the end of the Drowned. 98% sure of it.
Morathi will hear your insignia.
Okay, and then
Druki Queen.
time to take this out.
For the Witch King.
Alethanar's force marched away, which
Noble
means
of
it's
Nagaroth.
relatively safe to come up here.
Next, destruction!
Feel. To arms, Druki. I have seized it all.
And we can pop down another slave drive here to boost the growth of this province.
noble purpose. We rest first.
So the political landscape up here is slightly different too. These are all elite Thanars left, and then we can just move on to Karan Kar, crushing them. Bleak holes over here are done.
Death to all enemies! All is mine! Dreadlord, awaiting command.
There we go, factions destroyed. We're going to be building a lot here. I'm going to dump another 800 slaves here, give us some... Wait, no, he's already under the impact of that, oh well. Should have looked more carefully. Again, if you always let it expire, you never hit that bug. And it's something to do with the internal game engine. I don't know if there's a way to fix it. Let's get this rolling over here. We are not looking so great control-wise over here, though the corruption is going down a little bit, and control is going up, and that's fading. Up here we can do that. It costs a little bit more to make that. Okay, yeah, let's just grab these. That's good.
Hag sorceress of bronze. Destructive, this one. Useful.
And then I guess I could just go invade Ulthuan from here, right? Bring Velesan back down and start an invasion of Ulthuan. While Morathi and these two are pushing up north. I am 8 turns from getting another Black Arc, which I could use to help fight the demons up here and go into Norscar, whatever, destroy Crone Hellebron if I decided that's what I wanted to do. Short victory requires Crone Hellebron, Harganeth being destroyed. Ideally she gets confederated, either by me or Malekith, though. But then you, I have a feeling they're not going to be able to make it up there. I needed to get this lord out 1 turn sooner. Whoops.
Favored of the Witch King.
Get the dreaded slavers.
Fear the dark.
Cruel Dreadlord. Dark Servant.
Alright, we are about to be on our last turn here.
What?
Nothing of interest. Conquering Ulthuan might make Malekith like us a little bit more, though. Maybe we just attack the Dread Fleet there, honestly. Or the Admiral Danoff, we'll have to see how he's looking. And I guess this is an opportunity to wipe out Karan Kar's main army too, if they take it. Or they just won't take the settlement. Interesting choice. Alright, it's turn 30. Time for the last round of actions. First of all, we are declaring war on you.
Be brief. I care not for your ramblings.
Then I think what we do is we attack here.
Heart render.
She runs away. And then I could follow up. Okay, I could follow up. If I can follow up, then Let's come over here.
Going now!
I watch from the shadows. Morathi commands you. Fight. Take these wretches
There's another
away.
1,000 slaves.
I am Morathi.
Feared warrior! Onwards! Onwards!
Phoenix
Claim
Queen.
this.
Mother of the
What else can we do? We're friends. We're trying to be friends with basically everything to the north, so we might as well come back this way.
Agreeable. The crew are resting.
15, 23 units. It's probably beyond what we can take on right now. So let's invest a little bit more in the invasion force. Let's not try to force anything quite yet. Oh, raise the banners. Nice. I was like, why is the recruit rank +1?
Dark Lord.
And then Maywin.
What violent delight.
2% movement remain. We did it, ladies and gentlemen.
Man the wall!
Okay.
Dark deeds.
So let's improve that. In fact, we're going to want to kick drive this, so let's get that rolling. Get a slave drive started there. We can get this built here. Get Vol's anvil up. Oh, I totally forgot to destroy that last time. I think I actually improved it. Okay, and then we just wrap up with any skill points left.
A terror to their enemies.
What?
Speak.
Dreadlord!
Okay, here we are, the end turn. How do things compare? Well, prior we had 26 settlements and 19.3k income. We are now at 27 settlements. I think because we managed to claim the Hag Hall there because the Sisters have so we're one settlement up. And we are at 21k income, 21.6, so that is a bit better income. But we do have another entire settlement is the big thing. So Hag Hall, for example, is 700 income right there. So, there you go. As we see, we effectively entered in the same space. We are making a little bit more money with an extra settlement. But one of the big reasons, and here's an important thing to bring up, one of the reasons we're making a little bit more money is because we're able to get the higher growth and improve the infrastructure. This is why, as you saw in some of the earlier comparisons, and if you watched the summary video, the actual total income winds up being about the same. So you can build it a little bit more easily and quicker, but you get less raw max out of them in effect. So I think this demonstrates that this is functionally the same spot, or functionally pretty much where we were. But I think this is a lot more engaging, and it gets even a larger difference from here on out because the slaves don't eventually become over 10,000 a turn loss, which is what happened to 118 legendary Malekith domination victory. You mean if you have 50k slaves, you'll still lose that, and I did have 50k, so I lost that. But if I had to stop fighting for a few turns and I was down to like 15k slaves, then I wouldn't lose another 10,000 the next turn. I would lose, 3,000 next turn. So I think this winds up providing a better gameplay experience without being like a big boost to power or making the race overpowered. So hopefully you've enjoyed these videos and enjoy the mod.